Manchester United 2, Viktoria Plzen 1, and Manchester United's first away win in Europe for 20 months. That statistic is an absolute joke. And you know what? I thought it was going to be more comfortable. I thought it was going to be easier than it was today. I saw the starting 11. I was really happy with the starting 11, and I was incredibly disappointed with that first half performance. Luckily, they made up for it in the second half, and the biggest negative of the second half was the missed chances. We had a 3-on-1 at the end. We had another good opportunity at the end with Ahmad. Mason Mount should have scored. Ahmad put it on a plate for him. Højlund could have got a hat-trick because Bruno put one on a plate for him. I think we could have ended that game 3-4-1 had we taken our chances. But we've won the game. We've won the game 2-1. There were positives. There were many negatives as well. But we've got to talk about Diallo, man of the match. He's our best wing back. He's our best number 10. Like, he might be our best player. Him and Bruno today, they made the difference. They were fantastic today. And Bruno didn't have a good first half, but Bruno showed up in the second half in a much deeper position. The substitutes changed the game. The biggest problem today, and this was frustrating me, but Marcus Rashford would have the ball. Run with it. Take on your man. I'm frustrated with Rashford because, as you know, I generally believe there's a good player in Rashford. But if he's not going to take on his man and run with it, that's his fault. He needs to get out of this mental hole that he's in, find his love for football, and start taking risks. And it wasn't just Rashford, it was the attack in general. We were not taking risks. It was not flowing. And in that first half, we weren't looking to pass it forward. It was backwards, sideways. We had a lot of the ball, weren't doing anything with it. I think the only good thing that happened in the first half was that run by Xerxes. And I said at half time, Xerxes was one of our better players. And everyone came at me like, what do you mean Xerxes was crap? I wasn't saying that Xerxes was good, but I was saying, the two best moments of the first half came through Xerxes. That's how bad the first half was, because I don't think Xerxes had the best game in the world, but the two best moments in the first half came through him. Defensively, I think it was quite good in the first half, but the second half, we really come alive. And I think Diallo, for me, needs to be the 10 long term because the creativity that he brings. The problem is he's our best wing back. He's our best number 10. We've got more players that can play the number 10 role than the wing back role. So Ahmad, unfortunately, is going to be put at wing back. If we can get a left wing back, a right wing back, a left centre back, a top midfielder, and another attacker for the left side, I think, we'll see new left side attacker, Ahmad, Højlund, front three, Agate, Maino, and another attacker to rotate with them in the middle. Left wing back, right wing back that's attacking. Then you've got Majrari, Euro, De Ligt, Martinez, new centre back, Maguire to Euro to compete with those spots. But there was a lack of aggression at first. There was a lack of taking risk. It was poor. And you could see why Amorim was fuming. And what I like about Amorim is when he's not working, he makes the subs. Ten Hag would have waited till 10 minutes to go to make those subs, but Amorim doesn't do that. Onana, probably the worst player on the pitch today, had an absolute howler, miscaught like 3 things, gave the goal away, did the same versus Forest. This Onana has been absolutely faultless. And then in the last week, he's made 3 mistakes, costing us 3 goals. And Nana's one of those guys. He can be really good, but there's a mistake in him. But hopefully he can be flawless again, because I think he's been flawless for 6, 7, 8 months. Højlund, 10 goals in 9 European games. I've always said with Højlund, give him the ball and he'll score. You cannot judge a 20-year-old player that's joined a new club under immense pressure in an awful system. We can say, okay, he needs to improve his movement, he needs to improve this, but I've always said with Højlund, once the system is good, once we actually give him service, he will start to bag. And I think that's 11 goal contributions for the season so far for Højlund, or 8 goal contributions to 11 starts, sorry. And then Bruno, that last 20 minutes, he really turned it on. When the subs came on and Bruno had more players on his wavelengths that were making movement for him, it was fantastic. What I have to say to Bruno is no one gave him any movement in the first half. As soon as players come on and start giving Bruno the movement, we got so much better in the second half. And the biggest criticism of the second half was missing the chances. The first half was one of the most boring games of football I've watched in my life. I will say, though, every time we fouled a Viktoria player, they kept going to the floor and making a massive deal out of it. It was completely winding me up. But look, we did deserve to win the game. As crap as the first half was, we were the better team. We did deserve to win the game. And we kind of did dominate that second half. 6 big chances to their 1, 2.73 actually to the 0.77. We should have scored 4 goals today. We should have won that game 4-1 in the end. The first half was atrocious, but the second half we put in a performance. And that's the Amorim for the changes. That shows that Amorim's capable managers. And the United team stepped up. So as of now, we're currently 5th in Europa League, which means we won't need to go into the playoff game, assuming we win our next 2 games. Obviously, we've got a game in hand over a couple other teams there, but I think if we win our next 2 games, which we should win when you look at the opposition we're playing, I think we can avoid the playoffs in the Europa League, because let's be honest, we're Manchester United. We should be a Champions League club, but we're not the level for the Champions League. We'd probably be near where Man City are in the Champions League, to be honest, near the bottom of the table. But I think, we're too good to get knocked out of the Europa League or even be struggling in it. We've got to be quite dominant. So here are my thoughts. One of the worst halves I'd ever seen in the first half. No risk taken, no movement, no intensity, no physicality, no bravery. Plzen wanted to give us a very intense physical game, and they got that. The pitch was half tough, the players were physical, and we didn't cope with it well. Ahmad, man of the match, everything went through him. Got the assist for the Højlund goal, set up Mount beautifully as well. Every attacking moment came through him. Could have been a bit more clinical in that last attack he had, played it to Højlund with a hat-trick, but when you're 2-1 up, I think he just went for glory. He's the creative spark in the team. Him and Bruno are the only two that kind of make things happen creativity-wise. And I thought Mason Mount changed the game with his tempo, running, and athleticism, because even though he's not the nicest player to watch on the ball, off the ball, he was given some runs, given some movement, opening up some space, and all of a sudden we could break them down a lot better. And I think the substitutes helped the tempo, it helped the intensity. But yeah, there was a lack of quality in the squad. Ruben Amorim's going to need to sell more than half the squad, as Jim Ratcliffe wants to do, and you could see it. You can see that the serious investment needed in the wing backs, none aside from Ahmad really offered an attacking threat. And Ahmad was playing at 10 today. I thought the wing backs were poor. I think Diallo is a victim of the system. I don't think he's a bad player, but Diallo's never been known for his output in the final third. He's always been better defensively. Bruno created a clear chance for Højlund, and then obviously got an assist for Højlund. I think he created 2 or 3 big chances. He showed up well. We just lacked the bravery, as I said, and we're a little bit wasteful. So I want to talk about Bruno, but I mostly want to talk about Højlund. So these are Bruno's statistics here, and I'm really annoyed at how bad the lighting is for some reason. But Bruno here, as you can see, the 1 assist, expected assist 0.5, touches 111, key passes 7, big chances created 2. I thought he was excellent, particularly in a deeper role that he's adjusting to as well. As Nad said, our captain, and this is him playing deeper, he deserves so much more. He needs more players on the same wavelength as him. Wasn't even his best game, but he's clear of the others who started today. Absolutely. If Bruno played with more intelligent players that made more runs that were on the same wavelength as him, he'd be in like the Ballon d'Or shouts generally. I think people forget what a good player we have in Bruno Fernandes, because yeah, he can be frustrating, but Bruno's one of those players. If he was at Manchester City, we'd be saying, oh, I can't believe we let him go to City. Why don't we sign him from Sporting? Obviously, maybe not the City team now, but if he was at City, when they were stable, it would have been different, because he would have had good players around him and good wavelength. The fact that Bruno performs in a bad system, if you put a good system around Bruno Fernandes and some good players around him, there's a player. There's an absolute player there. But we need to talk about Rasmus Hojlund. 21 touches, 9 touches in the opposition box, 6 out of 7 passes, 4 shots, 3 on target, 2 goals, 1 chance created. The match winner, made his impact, got 25-30 minutes on the pitch, scored 2 goals. Probably should have had a hat-trick, because Bruno wasn't even looking and laid it on a plate for him. But Rasmus Hojlund has been doing very well under Amorim, and he's clearly our best striker under Amorim. And in Europa League, he's got the most goals and assists so far this season. I think he's only started about 2 Europa League games as well. If you look at him under Ruben Amorim, in 4 starts, he's got 5 goals, 1 assist. Could he become our Victor Gyökeres under Ruben Amorim? I mean, look, it's early days. He's 20, I think he's 21 years of age. He's a young kid. But he got 16 goals last season with absolutely no service. If Man United become a better team in a more stable environment, Højlund has got the fundamentals to be a good player. He needs to improve his movement. Amorim can work with him on that. He needs to improve elements of his game. But Højlund came on, he brought a bit of physicality, which was lacking in the first half. And he's our best finisher, and he's the best goal scorer. If you get the ball to Højlund in a good area, 9 times out of 10 he scores. Missed the tap-in today, but 9 times out of 10 he scores. And I think if you can sort the environment out around him, and he's in a system that creates a lot of chances, maybe he could be our Gyökeres. You never know, because profile of player-wise, he's very similar. Excellent finisher, probably the best at the club. Got to develop, but he's 2021. His potential is undeniable. Rasmus Hojlund's Man United's first ever player to score 10 European goals before 2022, so he's 21. He has all the quality attributes. He has all the attributes of quality centre forward, but isn't receiving service. When he does, he delivers. Okay, maybe his hold-up link-up isn't the best, but in terms of his running powers, his carrying, his finishing, he's got some really good attributes. And he's just an example of why you don't give up on young players in a chaotic team. This is why I never turned on Højlund last season. I said he was playing with a back injury. He had the media on his back because of how much he cost. The plan was to have Højlund and an experienced striker, but the board failed Ten Hag on that. And, we brought Højlund off the back of a 9-goal season as a 20-year-old kid for the future. But because of the lack of other business we had to rely on Højlund week in, week out, because Martial couldn't stay fit. And they put that added pressure on Højlund when we knew that he wasn't ready to start week in, week out for United. But when he got 16 goals for a Man United side that created nothing last season, with back injuries, with injury issues, with the pressure, with him only getting 9 goals the season before buying him and wasn't meant to be week in, week out starter, I said, look, let this kid develop, put him in a good stable side. good environment, and he could be good. And he's got 8 goal contributions and 11 starts this season in a very unstable system. And I think what caused the problems today was the physicality alone, because that's something that we lack. He dealt with them very physically. And yeah, I think United need to dominate teams more physically, and I think the system brings the best out of Højlund. I liked this comment from Les. I would start that team that finished the game going forward, maybe get Euro in there too. Bar is low, but I liked what I saw those last 15 to 20 minutes. And I agree. Obviously, we're going to have to put maybe a more natural wing back in there, but I really liked what I saw in those last 15 to 20 minutes. And I think with Manchester City lacking intensity, particularly Gundogan, this could be something good to bring. I actually think that Antony's best position for United would be left wing back. I'm happy to give Diallo a rest, try Antony or Garnacho left wing back, have Martin as left centre back, Maguire central centre back, give De Ligt a rest, Euro or Mazraoui right centre back. And even if Euro's right centre back, have Mazraoui right wing back and have Ahmad right wing. And have Højlund up top and have Mount left 10 and have Bruno and Ugarte in the pivot. Say maybe you got Maino as well potentially there. I think we look all right. And as Adam said here, Højlund, Mason Mount changed the game when they came on. Mount, Ahmad, Bruno worked well together. Højlund's increasingly getting in the right positions. Now take the points, get the hell out of there is my thoughts on the game. But I want those players to be taken into the Etihad because I think Man City are beatable. But man of the match was obviously Amad Diallo. 100% tackles won, 93% pass accuracy, 62 touches, 16 final third passes, 4 dribbles, 2 crosses, 1 big chance create. He's got to be a 10 long term because he's our best attacking player, best attacking output. We need him further up the pitch, but the problem is the wing-backs cannot do anything. They cannot carry the ball, which is why Ahmad's playing there. And only Højlund has been involved in more goal contributions under Amorim than Ahmad, and Ahmad's been playing as a wing-back. And then last but not least, I want to talk about Mount. I think he makes really good attacking runs, good movement off the ball, create space, open up space. The tempo, the work rate, the pressing is really helping us. And I think what Mount does on the ball isn't the best, so people just assume he's bad, but what he does off the ball makes the team so much better. And a lot of people won't notice that. He presses, he works hard, he brought the tempo, his movement, opened up space. Bruno could then play in some passes. And yes, he missed a few chances and could improve the finishing, but I think he brought rhythm. Thank you for watching today's video. See you next time. Bye.